to consider the...
Honorable members, I hope you had good lunch and break. Welcome back. The Assembly will continue result into the Committee of the whole House, and we continue from where we stop. Prior to our break, we just approved the insertion of clause 14 as read by the member for Upper Salum. And now we are going into clause 15, which is 14 on the text. Honorable members, it is proposed that clause 14, as it is, stands part of the bill. Yeah, with amendment, yes. Article D. And also sub 2, 14 sub 2, to delete of the members. And that's my bill, because man, definitely, that's my pen. Oh, yes. That is 3, that is on subclause 3C, to delete of the members, or it's repeated. Let me put the question again. It is proposed that clause 14, as amended, stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. You know, we already have 14 there, so when they are printing it, they will just numbers. Yes, but we will still read 14, 15.
Yeah.
Clerk.
Clause 15, powers and immunities of officers of the Commission.
Clause 15, powers and immunities of officers of the Commission. Committee? Members, any issue on clause 15, powers and immunities of officers of the Commission? Member for Woolley is?
Now I'm just saying, if you look at one, there is no need to mention even some powers of the police. They just say as equal to the powers of the police. Is it okay to add 1 or 2 or 3 powers of the police in that, or we just leave it like that?
Look at it, look at it.
Sorry, which police?
No, he's saying if you read 15, powers and immunities of officers of the Commission. 1. When investigating a case under this Act, an officer of the Commission shall have all the powers and immunities of a police officer under any law which empowers and protects law enforcement agents.
Yes, it's clear.
Opasado.
Thank you, Chair. The reason why we avoided the change that to be very specific on any law is for the future, in case the law changes, or if a new law comes in to protect them. This will become, you don't need to amend this. And that's the reason why we were thinking for the future to leave it the way it is, which means tomorrow if we come with a new law to protect the police, we are still covered. You don't have to amend anything. You know.
It is proposed that clause 14, clause 15, powers and immunities of officers of the Commission, as it is, stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. No, it will be when the printing, when doing the correction, they will.
Clause 17, secondment of staff to the Commission.
No, 16.
Yeah, clause 16, protection of officers of the Commission.
Clause 16, protection of officers of the Commission. Honorable members of the committee, do you have Members of the Assembly, do you have any? It is proposed that clause 16 as it is stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 17, secondment of staff to the Commission.
Clause 17, secondment of staff to the Commission. It is proposed that Clause 17, secondment of staff to the Commission, stands part of the bill as it is. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 18, pension.
Clause 18, pension. It is proposed that Clause 18, pension, stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 19, gratification by a public officer.
Part 5, offenses and penalties. Clause 19, gratification by a public officer. It is proposed that Clause 19, gratification by a public officer, stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 20, corruption offers to public officers.
Clause 20, corrupt offers to public officers. Clause 20, corrupt offers to public officers. It is proposed that Clause 20, corrupt offers, the member for Law Fuller do it. Yes.
Committee have something.
Committee, yes. Oh, you have something? Yes, please.
For this particular one, our recommendation is on the fine, and we recommend a fine of not less than 300,000 and not exceeding 1 million, or imprisonment for not less than 3 years and not exceeding 5 years, or both. The rationale is to give the judge, to look at the severity or the magnitude and the remorsefulness of the person that is being charged or with those acts, so that they can see, what is actually appropriate, and then they do it. Because we know that not all crimes, you can commit the same crime, but the magnitude, it may not be the same thing. And sometimes you may have somebody who's also very remorseful, and we want the judge to take that and then decide between minimum and maximum.
Member for Lower Fuller do West. Oliundum.
Yes, Honorable Chair. I don't know whether the member can guide us. That recommendation is good, but where do we capture it on?
You go to B.
Yeah.
After the B, then there's a paragraph there.
Yes.
The second to line of that paragraph.
On the middle of the page. On account. Yes.
So tell them there.
Opanyomi.
Yes, the amount this suggests like it should not be less than $300,000 and not exceeding $1 million. To me, it's at the higher side. That $300,000 is at the higher side. I think we can leave it as $100,000. It should not be less than $100,000, not exceeding $1 million. That's my suggestion.
Nominated Member Kebalan.
Yeah. Chair. Okay. Chair, if you look at 1B, since upon conviction, there'll be a confiscation of all the proceeds. So I strongly believe like leaving it as it stands with the original text. That would be my proposal. Yeah, $100,000. Because if you read it, it's saying, on account of any such act, omission, favor, or disfavor to be done or shown by the public officer commits the offense of corruption and is liable on conviction to the confiscation of the proceeds of the crime and a fine of $100,000. Okay?
That's the original.
Yes, that's the original.
Not actually, it's not in the original.
No.
Hello.
No, sorry. Can I? Huh? No, what I am saying is, I strongly believe the original text is doing the work for us because it is confiscating all the proceeds from the crime and also what?
No. I never care.
7 years or both.
No, come on, what's the other? 7 years was the other.
Okay, with regards to the fine, I believe the original text is good for me. Now we can look at the sentence of 7 years as well.
I'm speaking now.
I will suspend you and fine you $5,000. Then after him you come. Member for Latikunda Sabiji.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we are making a very serious law, a law that is going to deter people from corruption. So for me, I think the 300,000 is okay, even though the proceed of such a crime is going to be confiscated. But still, I think let's go by the 300,000, please.
Attorney General and Justice Minister.
Thank you. When you legislate, clauses giving the court the power to punish, it's critical you give some form of discretion to the court, because it's one thing to look at the mischief that we are trying to fight, but it's another thing to factor in that the gravity of various offenses may vary. So if the court has a discretion, then that discretion can be exercised based on the gravity, based on the evidence that is presented. Because if you look at the offense that we are looking at here, even a simple offer, and this one is addressing not public officers, it's members of the public offering public officers. So a member of the public that offers a public officer, even if the offer did not materialize, if you just make an offer that you come to me as an AG and say, I want A, B, C, D, please help me. But if you can help me, at the end of the day, I'll give you $5,000. That offer that you have just made, that's what we're talking about here. If you are convicted for it, we are saying not less than 300,000 and 7 years in jail. This is not the public officer receiving. This is the member of the public offering a public officer. So for me, what is drafted here, the 100,000, I don't think is bad. And the 100, if we can say not exceeding the 100,000, but the problem with this kind of legislation, if you close the lower limit, if you say not less than, that means no matter how trivial that offense is, the court, once convicted, cannot go below that, because you are closing the lower limit. So you are not giving the court the discretion to go below 300,000. So there's a way you can close upper and leave lower open. You can close both upper and lower, but leave the court to navigate between the two. And you can, so if you say not less than, then you are closing the lower limit. If you say not more than, you are closing the upper limit. If you say between, you give a range, then you are telling the court you cannot go below this, but you cannot go more than this. So this is just general advice. So when you look at this kind of clauses, it's very important you are mindful of that. If you close the lower limit, it means even somebody just made a verbal offer. It's a very serious because we're talking about corruption, I agree. But if somebody offered me 5,000 and I report him to the police, investigated, and it's confirmed that he has made the offer, we prove it in court, the fine is not less than 300,000 and 7 years in jail. That's what you are proposing now.
We want to amend that minimum fine. However, not less than, instead of 300,000, we can come down to 100,000 for the minimum and leave the maximum to 1 million. Yeah. Yes, between 100 to 1 million. Yeah.
Chair, why not you just close the up and leave it? Because yeah, then you leave the upper, yeah, leave the minimum so that the discretion of the depending on the gravity.
1 million.
Exactly.
Chair.
Sabak Sanjal.
Thank you very much, Chair. For me, I think it is fine if we leave it like the proposal that was given by the minority leader. But I'm just a little bit worried about that TO. I think it should be both and not or to both. Let's look at that together, please. I don't know if the sentence is completed, but it's like a fine of $100,000 or imprisonment for 7 years or to both. I think it should be or both and not or to both.
Chair, my opinion is I think we can just leave it at, let's say, not exceeding half a million, and of course to 5 years in imprisonment. That's my opinion. Chair, are you with me? Yes, I said my opinion is I think we can just leave it at not exceeding half a million and or 5 years imprisonment. That's my opinion. Thank you.
The member for Stanementering is bringing a counter proposal that not exceeding half a million. Or the 7 years to be reduced to 5 years. But would that capture a minimum, a small, maybe somebody who offered you 5,000 and you want to send the person to 5 years in prison? Okay, the member for Brikama North and Minority.
Yeah, we want to limit it to the maximum for both fine and the year. That is to say, not exceeding 1 million, and then not more than 5 years. 5 years, or both.
Yeah. I think we can compromise.
Now the chair is proposing not exceeding 1 million or not more than 5 years imprisonment. Or both. No, what he's saying, he is
saying there is no lower limit. It depends on the magnitude of the offense. So we can have the upper limit at 1 million. Also will depend on the magnitude of the offense. For the sentence also, there will be no lower limit for that, but maximum 5. Yes.
Member for Woolley East.
Honorable Chair, their recommendation, I was thinking, even because like it is said, even if you offer, $2,000 or $1,000. So if we go by this, no matter how small it is, they are saying it should not be less than, for example, 100,000. I think 100,000 is still high. You make it how much? I'm suggesting 50,000.
Please, honorable members. Honorable members.
Because that's, if
Order,
somebody offers,
order, please.
if somebody offers 500.
No, please, switch off your mic, sir. Please, let's allow him to put forward his proposal. He is proposing $50,000. And let's allow him to finish first. Then we'll give the Attorney General. Then I'll go to Kiang Latikunda, Banjul not nominated, then decide. Please proceed, continue.
Honorable, what people are offering people on the street, public officers on the street, is $50, $100, that type of thing. That's what they are giving to them. I see them all the time. So if they give them $100, $200, then you go and tell them to pay 100,000. These are people who are receiving 3,000, 5,000 for a month. That's 100,000 will be very high. That's why I'm saying, because it's a punishment, let's make it 50,000.
Honorable members, I'm not sure if we've listened and attentively and heard the member for Woolley East. We all know in our streets, we don't need to mention in the street. Somebody will just give you $50 at a sang. That's an offer.
That's a reward.
Honorable member, please don't do that again, please. Don't use off your mic. I said prior to giving the floor to Woolley East, I said from Woolley East, I will go to Kiang, Latikunda, Banjul North, nominated member, and come to this side. No.
Speaker's discretion.
You just finish your decision.
Please follow the procedure. This is Speaker's discretion. Mr. Chair,
you see, we are discussing something, and then he's using the mic, and he's corrupting me.
No, but that's the fact.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Kiang West. Kiang West.
Honorable Chair, this is a deterrent to stop people from corrupt practices, right? So the amount he said is too small. If you lay your hand on public properties, any attitude that is a corrupt attitude, we can even fine you 100 million so that people stop it. So that others who may want to behave the same can stop it. So 50,000 is very small. If it is a corrupt practice, even if it is one butut, stop it. This is the purpose of this commission, to ensure that we stop people from the corrupt practices. So it's a deterrent, it's not a business-making institution. It's not a business-making institution, it's a deterrent for people to stop laying their hand on public properties illegally. So I think it's important, if it is not 250,000, but at least 100,000 and above is fine.
Latikunda.
I just want to ask a question. If the AG bring a bill before us and we are at this consideration stage, what is his role to play? Because for me, it's like, I think at one point some members are brainwashed when the AG speaks. So I don't know what is his role when we are here, because we are making the law. So when AG gives his contribution.
Point of order.
Yes.
Member.
Yes.
Can you please?
What's the point of order?
Withdraw.
Put off your mic. Honorable member, please, honorable member, can you withdraw that word? Brainwashing.
It's like
order, honorable member.
I will not withdraw that statement, because that is like you force me to think a different way. That's what is brainwash. That is what is brainwash. If you encourage me to think otherwise.
Honorable member, put off your mic.
Huh?
Point of order.
Honorable member, please don't argue. Please, honorable member. You are imputing improper motive on members. Please, honorable member, withdraw that statement.
Okay. Okay, I withdraw and save it.
I was going to send him out, of course. Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I think I will agree with the minority leader to make sure that it is at least not exceeding 1 million and also the 5 years. Yeah.
Member for Kantora and majority leader.
You see, Chair, thank you very much. You know, we are lawmakers. We are not making the law for ourselves, rather we are making the law for the entire citizen. Please, can we have one house?
Please, order, order.
We understand that the purpose of this legislation is to curb corruption. However, I am a fervent believer that there must be a punishment to reprimand offenders of crime so that they cannot do it again. But in so doing also, that's why in their courts, they use some of their discretion. Let's try to minimize and come to a level playing ground. Someone could be jailed for 7 years for giving $10 to $5. Someone also could be jailed for collecting $100,000. So it's about us now to think, to come to, a middle playing ground. Let's not be emotional in doing this thing now. If we say because of the gravity, yes, the person has to do this here and there, you know, it's going to be possibly defeated. We understand. We're not encouraging it, but to reprimand, to deter reoccurrence. But I believe that 1 million is still on the high side. Yeah.
Honorable members, nominated member Kebalang Fofana.
Sorry. Honorable Chair, I strongly believe that corruption right now is a concern, and coming up with punitive measures is a must, but we need to be very careful. We need to be very, very careful as to what we are doing. The gravity of offenses will vary. If you look at section 20B, section 20B is telling you a person who promises or offers to give, the action is not even finished. Do you understand? This is just a promise. And that individual will receive the same punishment as section 21A, as the person who gives, confers, or what procures. So what I'm saying here is, we need to be careful. Are we together? We need to be careful. We are not making these laws for ourselves. We are making it to regulate and avoid it having unintended consequences. To do so, we have to be proactive. Since we cannot make it in ranges, let's look at values. To avoid naming names, there are people who will tell you, Ataya Songa in the Gambia doesn't exceed $20. Sometimes they will tell you, Ataya Songa, you'll be like, I would go and come back. You didn't even give it to them. Both of you now commit an offense. No. Let me just learn. So
please,
what I'm saying is,
honorable members, please, I want all of you to keep your opinion to yourself. When he finishes, I'll come to you.
I agree with the fact that the $100,000 might be on the low side because of the variations in the gravity of offenses. But the 1 million also is in the high side. Let's come to the middle ground. an upper limit of 500,000.
There is point of order on the member Kebalang Fofana from the member for Latikunda.
You said keep to yourself. It's offensive. You have to withdraw that statement. That's the point of order. 20. And you know what I'm talking about. So, let me withdraw that statement. No, that's serious. You're going to tell members keep to yourself.
Chair, I'm proposing to take member for Latrikunda on induction training on standing orders.
What?
To take you for induction training on standing orders.
To keep to yourself is offensive.
It's offensive. It's offensive, yes.
Of course.
It's offensive, yes. It's offensive.
There will be no order if that is not withdrawn.
Exactly. It's
Yes,
offensive.
That has to be withdrawn.
It's offensive, yes. It's offensive.
Honorable members, honorable members, you know the member for Latikunda, Sabeji, and Kiang West. Put off your mics, please. Two of you, put off your mics. Your mic is on.
Rule on his order.
Okay, your mic is on. Please put it off. My ruling is that both the member for Latikunda, Sabeji, and Kiang West are out of order.
You cannot tell members keep your comments to yourself. No.
No. Kiang West, please put off your mic, sir. What I said is, honorable members, we are disturbing, murmuring. I said, please, honorable members, all your opinions, each and every one, keep your opinions, I will come to you. Honorable member for Kiang West, please, if you have any opinion, please keep it to yourself. Please keep it to yourself. Please continue.
No, I'm not done. What? Honorable Speaker, what I'm saying here is corruption, the act of corruption that deters the nation from moving is done by the big fishes. This particular one here is making the junior and law officers vulnerable. Let's act on the big fishes where they are, and we exact the maximum fines. The 100,000 might be on the low side. I agree. Let's increase that to 500,000. 500,000. And then the 5 years is okay, but let's make it optional. Fine or imprisonment or both. And when we get to the big fishes, whatever is there, even if we have to triple it, we'll agree. Thank you.
Member for Olyundum.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I was going to share the same opinion with the honorable nominated member with regards to, hey, please, I am speaking, with regards to the fine. You see, like honorable member for Willie is said, somebody will offer $10, and you have the same consequences to somebody who offers $100,000. That is it, the same punishment. But you explain your proposal. We have
member for Olyundum. I gave you the floor to proceed.
Yes. So what I am saying is, what the honorable nominated member said, I think that is the right thing we should do with regards to this particular provision. Thank you.
No, please just note down. Note down. Open your me.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Chair, what I wanted to say is, I just want to reiterate what has been said by the previous speakers. Like, we can make a limit to the lower fines, like $100,000, we are agreeing. But we should also leave it open, not to close it. Because there are people that can offer even $3 million. And their police, their charges will be like maybe $6 million probably. Fines will be like $6 million. So let's leave it open on top and close it down, not less than $100,000. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
Member, the concern of all these members are that you should leave it open to the lower one, because it can be probably $10, $5, $200. That's what they are saying. The member for Fonyi Councillor.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, thank you. My suggestion here is this. I think we are making laws,
And in these laws per se, as he has alluded, I give a $10 or promise a $10, I go into this fine. So I don't know what type of laws are we making. For my own opinion, let's make it as low as a lower level. It depends on the crime. But if you fix it and said, okay, I give, for example, a brother in the highway walking, give this and buy attire, I'm committed on that. I don't think I personally will be part of those laws to make. I'm not part of it. I won't do that, definitely.
We're talking about corruption, and we have to understand what corruption is. Now, in the event that, like, I want to lobby something for somebody, and then the person promised me that, well, if you lobby this for me, at the end of the success of getting that thing, I will give you this amount. Would that be considered as corruption? Yeah, then one honorable is here who is emphasizing already is in trouble.
Please put off your mic. Member for Janjamure.
Thank you very much, Chair. I just want us to look at things in a different dimension, because some of us think if you walk or drive past a police officer, give him or her a $50 or a $25, that could be seen as a corruption. And I think I have a different view around that. You can see your brother or a sister in uniform walking on the road, and you think you can motivate that particular individual, you give him or her a $10 or a $20. I don't think such should be seen as an act of corruption. It can only be if in case you make an offense on the traffic and you want to be forgiven and give a particular police officer, let's say $100 or $20 in order to escape from the problem. I think such acts could be seen as an act of corruption, not otherwise. You can reward anybody for his or her good job. However, moving forward with the issue itself, I think with the recommendation, I would think we should look at it at 100,000 and the sentence term to be 3 years instead of 5 years. And besides, we should also understand that some of these offenders might be first-time offenders, and as such, we should leave it to the discretion of the judge to actually determine as to what punishment he or she might face. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Janjamure, when you look at 20, it did not distinguish or differentiate between a relative or non-relative. And it's just saying a person who gives, when you give. No, the member for Busumbala, or you didn't raise your hand?
It's okay.
Member for Joshua.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think I have a question for the Minister. My question first is going to the Minister. When they were preparing this law,
Order, Honorable Minister.
Minister, when you were preparing this law with your team or your drafters, do you ask yourself about the people that you suppose you are targeting, the people that you are dealing with as Gambians? We as Gambians, we know ourselves. And these are laws that are going to affect all of us. Even from here, coming to the minority caucus and the majority caucus, we are called here for a reason. We are lobbied for something. And by lobbying also is what? You as a Gambian, you are always good in giving out. You are very good in giving out. You see your brother in the street and he is suffering, sweating. You give him just for the sake of giving. What will you call that? No, I mean, allow us to learn. The police officer standing on on duties with traffic as an officer. Maybe you don't know him. Why are you giving him? You give him because of a reason. You're not giving because of you are helping. You give him because of you appreciate what he is doing. They call it corruption. Let's look at these laws properly and prepare ourselves for something. It's very important. Thank you.
Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Thank you. Thank you. it's the gifts are not bribery and are not corruption. The challenge I see members are struggling with, once you start giving examples, then you put yourself in difficulty here, because you will be looking at different scenarios and you will be concerned about, is this scenario a corrupt practice, is that other scenario a corrupt practice? And if you go by those scenarios, it will be difficult. All I know is you can refer back to definition of corruption or the definition section. All right, it says it's on page 5. It says it includes bribery, fraud, embezzlement, diversion of public funds, trafficking in influence, illicit enrichment, abuse of power, and other related offenses. Yeah, yes, just allow me. And various kind of activities have been described as corruption. If you go to one of the sections you just passed, which is gratification by a public officer. Yes. You passed it. When you ask, receive, obtain any property, benefit of any kind, directly, indirectly, for yourself or somebody else, or any other person, or you agrees or attempts. Okay? So it goes further. And it said, anything to be done or omitted to be done, or favor or disfavor to be shown to any person by himself or herself in discharge of his or her official duties, or in relation to any such matter as aforesaid. So, what you are asking, if you are the one asking, or what you are giving if you are the giver, because corruption is both sides, giver and a receiver. It takes two to commit corruption. It must be in respect to your official duty as a public officer, and the person giving must be expecting a favor, some form of a favor, already done or to be done, emanating from your public duties. I think the interpretation can be left to the courts.
Now,
the proposal that was made by the minority leader, that not more than a maximum fine of 1 million and not more than 5 years imprisonment. My role here, Latikunda Sabiji, I would respond that my role is to guide. That word you use has the connotation of manipulating. I am not manipulating. I'll just explain, and the decision is yours, because at this stage, nobody can decide for you. It is for you people to decide. But that proposal by minority leader, what it means, you can be punished up to 1 million or up to 5 years imprisonment. But you can even be cautioned and discharged upon conviction. There is no lower limit. All right? So that means upon the judge pronouncing conviction, the judge now will have to, there is what we call in punishment proportionality. The punishment that is inflicted must be proportionate to the alleged offense. And the offenses are committed at different gravity. So, and I don't think in Parliament here you will be able to legislate all those details. No. That's for the courts. So, the element of the offense are the same, but once the elements are met and the court said you are guilty, number one, usually the court asks for plea in mitigation. They would say, what do you have to say? Number two, the court will look at a lot of things before sentencing, and normally there are sentencing guidelines. So that's for the courts. If you want to do the job of the courts here, you want to legislate all the minor details, it will take very long. So I think you can trust the judiciary. I think that is why in governance we have executive, we have judiciary, we have legislature. You do your bit and leave the other side also to do their bit. It's a question of trusting each other. We drafted it, but we cannot enact it. We bring it to you to enact. When you enact, you also leave it to judiciary to interpret and implement. Yeah.
Member for Nyamina West.
Thank you. Chair, I think Honorable Minister has already assisted. I was having problems on the interpretation, which you already done. But here, what is important is we know our culture. We are taught of sharing. And then our religion also teaches us to stretch hand. So if the definition there is a problem, we'll be worried. But in all, we need to trust each other. This is our bit. We do ours and we give or leave the rest to others. Thank you.
Lower Fulodo West.
Thank you very much. I think here, I just want to ask the committee that was engaged in this thing. We are making these laws for the populate. As I am understanding it now, I think this was something that the general populate need to understand, because this is something that the whole country is looking. But the way things are going, meaning that we are going to kill our culture, our tradition, and a lot of issues in this. So we need to relook at this thing.
Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the issue is with what the minister said.
Yes.
We are trying to make regulations and laws here. In so doing, we need to understand before we pass anything. That is important for us. We need to understand it to the fullest before we pass. Whatever we make here without understanding, it can be interpreted anyhow. But we have to understand it first from this ground before we allow the judge to go on with the judgment. The judge, whatever they are going to base their decision on, is going to be based on our understanding of what we are doing here.
Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai, I saw the Attorney General nodding and saying that what you said is correct. Member for Banjul Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Minister have at least made some amount of clarity as pertaining to this area of discussion. I would also like to concur with my honorable colleague that we are not here to bring sentiments or we have to detach ourselves emotionally from these things and put our minds into what we are doing. So it's also normal that, we are spending too long of a time in this particular clause because it's of much importance, like the honorable member said. So I also agree with the honorable member of Joshua, because also I was having that, but you've clarified that, because who are we targeting is very important in this, and you've made clarity with regards to that. So I'm not legally minded, but also I'm made to understand that the intent has something to do with this. What's the intention of the particular person, the giver or the taker? What's at stake in that? So my own perspective in this is, it depends on the amount of crime that is done, the intention, right? With regards to the threshold that we can debate here as to whether it's going to be 100,000, 200,000, 500, or to 1 million. But depending on the magnitude and the proportion, the gravity of that particular intent, it can be in the millions of dollars, it's public funds, because we're talking of bribing public officials. It can be in the hundreds, it can be in the thousands, it can be in the millions. So with regards to the threshold, that we can debate it here. I think the Honorable Minister, we have to also trust our judiciary system. He can help guide us with regards to that. And also we have to trust our legal experts in this as well, because at the end of the day, it depends on the amount of crime that one does. When you go to the courts, they have their own processes, they have their own ways of putting someone to check. So they'll be able to determine the amount or the, depending on the crime, they can be able to legally set the standards with regards to that.
No, I will go to the Attorney General. From there, Stanley Mentoring nominated member Maimuna Sise, and then I'll come.
Thank you. I requested the floor because he touched on something very important before we missed it, the issue of intention. If you look at the section that is currently on the floor, and I see the concerns of some of the members, the issue of intention is not captured because certain offenses require intention, proof of intention, There are certain offenses that don't. If they don't require proof of intention, we call them strict liability offenses. That is, the act itself alone may constitute the offense. So he talked about intention. You could, I'm just guiding, for example, a person with intent to corrupt, then you bring it so that in prosecuting that person, the intention element will be a requirement to prove it. Because if you look at the UN Convention on Corruption, Article 15, it says, and I read it for just your guidance, each state party shall adopt such legislative and other measures as may be necessary to establish a criminal offense when committed intentionally. This is the UN Convention on against the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, Article 15. So the requirement of intention sometimes could be necessary, because like some of you are worried, are all acts of giving acts of corruption? All right. But like I said, my role is to guide, profile more guidance, and ultimately you have to construct the clauses. So I say, because he mentioned the issue of intention, I think intention is important, whether we add it to this clause as a requirement, so that, I mean, probably those of you who believe that there is a risk of genuine gift being misconstrued as bribery, whether it fell. But the committee that worked on it, there was Joe Swang who made mention of, when we were drafting this bill, whether whatever, I'm not too sure. Parliamentary Council is here, but I don't know how extent he was involved in the drafting. I inherited this bill in Parliament. I did not even table it. It was in Parliament since 2019, I believe. Yeah. So I had no institutional memory of how it was drafted, to what extent consultations were made. But I believe the Parliamentary Committee itself did extensive consultation on it already. And so that's why we are here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I just need a clarification on. Hello. I just need a clarification from the Attorney General of the justification of the act, like the amount, how much was given on an offer, as an offer to, or where the incident occurred. For example, a police officer, like there is a problem on the highway, and then, you know, I just wanted to offer the police officer just to leave the case outside. And then I tried to give him, like, for example, $500 or so. Who is there to justify whether I've actually given him the $500 or $200 or $1? Thank you.
You see, I warned, when we want to analyze examples here, you are giving police officers, somebody will come another example, someone will come another example.
I have a point of observation, Chair.
It is the principle that we should understand. If you are giving, and the person you are giving to is a public officer, and the reason why you are giving is to influence his decision or his conduct towards you by virtue of his public duty, it is corruption. So you can apply that to your example. But whichever example you use, the principle is what is most important.
Chair, please. Chair. Nominated member Maimuna Sise.
Chair, I have an observation to make, Chair. I have an observation. Why do we use...
Please, I have not given you the floor. I have said it over and over. Chairman Nabe. Nominated member Maimuna Sise.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I'm more of comfortable now, because I'm in doubt whether I heard of giving a $10 for attire could lead you to a crime. My first memory went to our traditional norms and the value. I'm thinking of between me and my griots. When I'm out, when they say something towards me, I give them something that will land me to a corruption. So, but when you explain, I capture it. So I don't think I have anything to say again. I think.
Majority Leader and member for Kantora.
Yeah, Chair, I want to propose something very important. Now, I want to make headway. I want to make headway with the report now. Let's, someone can enter in a procurement in a public institution, and then you import medicine, for instance now, and you made millions out of it. And the threshold is that your point is only 1 million. What I'm saying, let's start from 100,000 and above, open it. It now leaves to the discretion of the judge the gravity of crime offended or 5 years imprisonment. But do not close it. I'm coming.
Now, if the offense is about $10,000,
then he will use discretion again.
On the 100,000, not less than 100,000.
No, from is it 100,000 there is to make deterrence for it not to be repeated. I'm coming. Then leave it open from 100,000 and above. Someone can enter into government deal and get 50 million. And you said the person will be punished by 1 million. Leave it open, let the judge use discretion, looking at weighing the gravity of the offense. He could be charged even 15 million or 20 million. Let's start from somewhere and trust our judicial system. Let them use their discretion in punishing the offender. Because as the minister said that, there's always this comparison with crime committed and the offense committed.
No, Majority Leader, you are taking us to another level where you, because of your actions, you're either a company or a contractor, and you cause a loss of resources to the government of the Gambia. There is this, there are a lot of other laws, economic crimes, and other things. But this one, how about the one, the offense is $10,000 or $5,000? You still charging $100,000? Minority Leader and member for.
Basically, there are a few things that are involved where we need to strike compromise. One is on the minimum, both fines and the imprisonment. I think we have no consensus on imprisonment. The issue is on fine. Our proposal was, let there be no minimum fine and imprisonment. I think that will address the fear of honorable member for Woodley East. If there is no minimum fine, the discretion will lie on the judge to determine, based on the nature of the offense, what amount you're supposed to be fined based on the magnitude of your offense and whatever imprisonment you're supposed to have. So the fear of a less crime, you pay 100,000. We are not saying 100,000. 100,000 is no more there. So we are saying there should be no minimum fine and minimum imprisonment. And then, based on the magnitude of the offense, we are saying let's have the fine at 1 million. No, I'm coming. This is what I'm trying to say. And then the imprisonment maximum 5 years. However, when honorable member for Opanyomi, his fear was or is, if the offense is so serious that it's more than 1 million, that means we'll be at a loss to say that particular person supposed to be fined not more than 1 million. And the offense the person committed, as majority said, is more than 1 million. This is where we can look at. But honestly, for minimum, I think let's leave the minimum. What you are saying, 100,000 as the minimum, this thing is not addressing the concern of Woodley East. Yeah?
Minority, thank you very much. Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Yeah, if Honorable, you went very fine, and the last bit where you express fear, I can explain that to you. If the offense is a serious one, that's where the judge now have a discretion. In addition to the fine, he can jail you, mandatory for 5 years. And remember, there is also a forfeiture provision. If you have gained unlawfully, you have gone unlawful gains, all those gains can be forfeited from you. So imagine, even if you have made money, the money is forfeited, you are fined, fine is statutory, and then you are jailed for 5 years. I think that's enough.
Member for Upper Salum.
Yes, thank you. I think we've made it very, 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 very easy now. What we are saying is, let's give the judge the leeway to decide due to magnitude and the proportionality of the crime. But remember one thing, no matter what happened, the proceeds of the crime will be confiscated, no matter what happened. Now, if the crime is so huge, just like he said, there's an option for jail. The option for jail is going to come only most likely due to the severity of the crime. Most likely that's going to happen. But remember, I think somebody was saying the small fish, but remember the small fish grows into a big fish. Remember that? Yeah, I said it. Exactly, yeah, you said it exactly. But the small fish will grow into a big fish. So what we are trying to do is not to allow it to grow. That's what we're trying to do. All this is deterrent so that they will not grow and stop there. So there's a lot of intention when they make like embezzlement. It's there. When you go further, you will see it actually. When the person intentionally do this or that, we'll see it in very, very soon. So yeah, subsequent clauses. So the intent is going to be very clear there.
So, Woolley is?
Yes, Chair. I think we are trying to develop. We are trying to agree on consensus. Kiang West. We are trying to agree on consensus. We are trying to have consensus. I believe, this 21, let's read it carefully. It's gifts. If you give, confers or procures or directly or indirectly.
21 or 20?
Wait. 20. Promises or offers to give, etc. But he's saying on account of any such act, omission, favor or disfavor to be done or shown by a public officer commits. So I'm saying the minimum thing, let's take that out, because even naming somebody in corruption case, naming and shaming somebody sometimes is enough. You understand? Because we are talking about deterrent. If you call somebody to court and then you name the person and then you shame the person, that alone is bigger than 50,000 for some people. So let's not put the minimum there. You understand? For the maximum, we can discuss that. We can go to the maximum. But for the minimum, please, let's not put that there, because you will not be able to determine. At least we leave that to the court to determine. Yeah.
Member for Serekunda.
Thank you. First, I wanted to observe something. Let's not use our police officers as example. This is talking about persons. And again, since the monetary issue is becoming a problem, why don't we attach a percentage to the amount involved? I think that can help us. It's just an opinion.
Nominated member Kebalang Fofana.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Minority Leader, I think we are having a middle ground now. My concern was partially answered by AG, but still now I need more clarity, because we all agree that the nature of crimes will differ and the gravity also will differ. Fine. We'll take comfort in the fact that if one receives 5 years plus confiscation of any proceeds from the crime, that could be sufficient. But we've seen crimes in this country that goes into 30 million, 40 million, 50 million. So is it possible to eliminate both the minimum and the maximum fine and make sure that confiscation is done and whatever fine the judge would impose would be in direct correlation to the gravity of the crime that is done? So that, one, those people who are receiving small money would not receive a harsh punishment, and the big players as well would not find a way, and the state would not make any losses.
Sabak Sanyal.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Chair, AG wants to.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I just wanted us to look at this because the Honorable Member for Banjul Central made mention of intention, which the Honorable Minister has elaborated on. But I think if you look at this,
you look at section 20, A, B. It says a person who, A, gives, B, promises, on account of any such act. I think that's the intention there. Honorable Minister, I don't know whether you're getting me here. Yes, a person who gives, confers, or procures, directly or indirectly, any property or undue benefit of any kind to, on or for a public officer or any other person, or promises or offers to give, confers, procures, or attempts to procure, directly or indirectly, any property or benefit of any kind to, on or for a public officer or any other person, on account of any such act, omission, favor, or disfavor to be done or shown by the public officer commits. That alone is showing that that is the act that you have done. You have already done, the intention is to what? To do what? To omit or to favor or to disfavor. So that is showing you that there is an intention. That is the motive. Why are you doing A and B? Is to what? On an account of any such act, omission, favor, or disfavor. So I think that alone will qualify it to be an intention. Thank you.
Member for Kiang West.
Honorable Chair, first I want to ask a question. What if somebody's act cost the state more than 50 million? If that happens, the clause not exceeding 1 million fine will tie us, and that would not be fair to the state. And we are talking about imprisonment. Even 10 years, somebody's corrupt attitude can cost lives. It can definitely cost lives. So with these few remarks, I want to agree with honorable nominated member on opening it. So that we, yes, we leave it at the discretion of judge. Because we cannot give them just small money to pay that one. To be honest, we cannot do that.
Banjul Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I equally will agree with the Honorable Member for Kiang and the nominated member, because this has to do with proportion, like I said. It has to do with proportion and the gravity of the crime, technically. So I think the best thing to do, because one might do a petty crime that might not worth imprisonment, or perhaps might not even cost much to the state. But on the other hand, someone might, make a very grave crime that might cost the state millions and millions and millions of dollars, even dollars. So when that happens, and there's a threshold actually, and the threshold is way beyond the gravity of what that person has done, that crime actually, it doesn't make any sense. So I would just like to think that it's better to make it open. I think it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Yeah. I am also in agreement that we should make it open. But the issue of the corruption is very complicated here. In this text, as I read it, if one is to understand the English language, it's very complicated. Although it's not my duty to interpret the law, but then from my own perspective, because in the times where before they interpret law, if they have complication in interpretation, they will draw their attention to our citizens and whatever we are saying and what our thinking is, for them to know on what will they base their judgment on. So that is the complication. So now, what I want the Honorable Minister to make clarity on is whether during politics, as you know, the griots will be singing for you. In the event you give money, that is an inducement, because you are expecting votes in return. And that one is very complicated and is a traditional practice in the country, which I think we need to be clear of, please.
Attorney General.
Thank you. Let me first clarify my first intervention before it is misunderstood. When I said there are some aspects of the legislation we need to leave in the hands of judiciary, I definitely don't mean that you can pass laws that you don't understand. You have to understand what you are passing. Very critical. In fact, there is something in interpretation at the court level that we say we struggle to find what was the legislative intent behind a particular provision in the law. So you must be very clear for every single clause that you are passing. It must be clear to you. What I was trying to explain when I made that intervention was, no matter how clear you try to be, you will not be able to legislate all the minute details. That's what I was trying to say. But that doesn't mean you should proceed to allow clauses to pass without being clear. Having said that, you see, the issue of giving griots, they are not public officers, officials. So I wonder how would that be corruption? So those fears should not bother you.
Honorable Attorney General, the member for Fonyi Bintang want to observe.
Yes.
We want to observe.
Said public officers and any other person. Very sensitive.
Yes, we currently, even my technical team, we are debating the use of that any other person there. All right, we don't think it's suitable and appropriate there, because the intention here is to curb corruption in the public service. Of course, other people can be corrupt, but if you are a member of the public, you are participating in corruption, you most likely are among those who are offering. You are inducing public servants to be corrupt. So we can consider, well, you can consider removing any other person to be on the safe side. But here the target is the public servant. Now the issue of leaving it up completely open without stating minimum or maximum, it's not best practice. So again, I was the one who said we can trust the judiciary. But again, I don't know whether I'll be talking from both sides of my mouth if I come to hit this one. Because the thing is, judicial officers are also human beings. They require some control from Parliament. I mean, so that's why you are here. So to make a law and leave the punishment absolutely open to the judge without guiding him is very risky. I was there before. We are human beings like all of you. Sometimes you come here very moody. The house was not nice. So judge also can wake up from the wrong side of the bed. So if he convicts somebody and reads that Parliament have entirely left me on my own to decide how to punish this gentleman or this lady, you have not provided any guidance. I think that's not best practice.
No, but
don't shy away from the responsibility. Provide some guidance. You should just be satisfied that you are proportionate. We can never be too precise in some of these things. You just have to be reasonable, and then you leave it there. And the laws are dynamics. As we start implementing the act, we will then be learning from the implementation itself, and that's why we normally come back to amend, to repeal and replace, and those kind of things. So legislation will not be able to solve all the problem 100% at one go.
I have an observation. Yes, I want to observe that, like, if the Honorable Minister is suggesting that any other person be removed, I am not saying, I think we should leave it like that, because that any other person can be doing that act on behalf of a public officer. So I think we shouldn't remove it.
Member for Opanyomi.
That's a good one. I did not look at that perspective. The offer and the giving is criminal when you're targeting a public officer. But sometimes this offer and giving is not made directly to the public officer. It could be done through another person. And I think that's the angle that he is trying to bring. So it's important. I agree. I change my position. I completely concur.
If any other person, you are opening it up to almost to everybody, anyone, That is dangerous. The member for Opanyoni.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for order.
Order. When we are making laws in modern day legislation, you don't leave yourself to the whims and caprices of judges or magistrates. Sometimes you have to be very clear and you have to be very concise. Member for Opanyoni.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Chair, I think the Honorable Minister somehow spoke my mind. Yes. So, like, what I wanted to say was, we can draw a minimum range. We can leave the maximum range open, but we can draw the minimum range. In certain countries, no matter how little or small the corruption may be, it attracts death sentence. Honorable Chair. Yes, it attracts death sentences. So that's why I am suggesting that at least let's draw a minimum charge for at least $100,000 is still enough. Let's leave it there. Thank you.
You know, I think minority leader's proposal was very good, and then to capture the concerns of everybody, where there is no minimum, and then you have a ceiling. Member for Sanementre. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I need clarity on 2 points. One is once a law is enacted by Parliament, automatically becomes authentic, I guess. And once it is authentic, I have doubt on the empresses, for example, the unretired empresses. There are unretired empresses, as for example, and once a law is enacted and becomes a law, for example, and the empresses that are not retired, the unretired ones, do they automatically become part of those who are corrupted? Thank you. It's a question. It's for the Attorney General, please, with all due respect. And 2 is the inducement on election campaigns. If one introduces an inducement, how will you call that? Good, thank you.
Honorable Speaker, without you giving me the floor yet, 2 things. When I started my earlier intervention, I left something out because repeatedly I've been hearing where somebody's the act caused loss to the state. Let's not confuse punishing corruption to causing loss to the state. There is a whole economic crime law for conducts that causes loss to the state. And those are prosecuted under that law. This is just the act of corruption that we are trying to punish here. But when the conduct of a public officer causes losses to the state, you will be prosecuted under a different legislation. And under that legislation, you can even be fined up to, I think, 5 times the amount of losses that is very severe. And you can go to jail, sometimes even not bailable. So there is a whole legislation dealing with conduct of officers, or even if you are not public officer, causing losses to the state. So let's not confuse causing loss to the state and punishing act of corruption. That clarification I want to make. Now what Madam is saying, you know, on retired impress, again, could be handled by other legislations. Public Finance Act is there. Like I said, if it involves fraud, because this one, I don't think it has all the elements of corruption. Like we say, corruption always involves 2 or more. Yeah. All right? In this case, you are giving a responsibility, giving some public funds to use, and when you complete implementing whatever you were implementing, you come and retire it. You fail to retire it effectively or properly to the satisfaction of whoever is responsible of that activity. That will not fall under corruption. Sure. Sorry.
Inducement. Said inducement during political season also.
The elections bill is also here. The issue of inducement of voters, I think, will be covered under the Elections Act. Yes.
Chair. Yeah. Member for Kantora and Majority Leader.
Thank you very much. Eji, looking at the public officer or any other person, we must understand, what are we regulating? Are we regulating the public officials' corruption, or we are regulating both, even the public? Because if you allow any other, it's not only, I understand, corruption is both sides, giver and a taker. But then, if you want to say any other, it means that you are also punishing the private citizens also. I'm coming. Yes, if we are in agreement to that, that not only, because the issue is that we continue saying that the public officers, civil servants are corrupt, and that's why I want to bring a legislation to really address that. But in so doing, when I see this thing, when I saw it, it now reflects in my mind that not only public officers, even the private sector, and also even the ordinary citizen in the streets is captured. If that is the thinking, I think let's not dwell much on this. To accept, we must agree to have a monetary fine there. That alone, to say that, okay, there is 1 million proposed in the new legislation, itself serves as deterrence. It's scary, it scares you. There must be some caveats that will be there to make sure that if you do this thing.
So you change your position?
Of course. But I'm not in agreement with minimum wage, minimum fine, but we can say maximum of 1 million. Then the discretion of the judge will be there to fine him $50, $100, 10,000 or so. But let's have something to reprimand. Let's have something to caution, where the judge can also lean on as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think the area is very complicated when we are looking at it specifically. Now, here, like the member for Kantora said, and any other person there makes it very, very complicated. Makes it very, very complicated. Like I said, during politics, for instance, if you buy water for people to drink, will be labeled as corruption. And any other person, that's how we are defining it. But I want also for us not to open it vague like that. The maximum number of years should be 5 years. That's my thinking.
Kiang West.
Honorable Chair, at first, we cannot allow public officials to use their relatives or friends on corrupt practices when they will be scot-free. Other persons is good there. Let us leave it there, because most of the public officers do this. They do it. They use other people in corrupt practices, and they will not deal with the practice directly. So it's good to leave it there. And the other thing also I want to question is that Honorable Minister highlighted that there are other laws that takes care of loss to the state. If your attitude, if your action causes loss to the state, there are other laws that takes care of that. But we should be we want to be very clear with those laws. We want to be very clear with them. And I don't know which law takes care of that. And if there is any law that takes care of that, of course, we need to be clear with it, so that we know we're doing this because it could be taken care of somewhere. But just to be told there is another law that takes care of it, for that one is that's a leverage. I don't understand that.
Member for Same.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me the floor. Thank you. Here, when we talk of corrupt practices, it's either an officer or any other person. So that means that all of us are there. Even the man in the street or the lady in the street, they are all part of it. Because you can do corruption in one way or the other. So we are all, included in it. Yeah.
Busumbala.
Thank you. I'm saying.
Busumbala.
Huh?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I think in order for us not to defeat the purpose, we maintain the lower limits of fine, because
Please, Busumbala, proceed. I think when we are making it, we need to look at the clauses or provision that we want to put in the law. Please, Busumbala, proceed. No, Busumbala first. Busumbala, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I believe for us not to defeat the purpose of this legislation, we need to maintain these lower limits, on finding. Yeah, because if you don't make a lower limit and you just want, the magistrate to use his or her discretion, there are potential, executive interference in the judiciary. We have seen it,
Proposal, please. Quick proposals.
Member for Upper Salo.
Yes, I think, yes, Chair. I think it seems we are almost in agreement. We are almost in agreement. Yes, but no. Yes, I think the issue is just all about the fines. Now, what I'm trying to say, I understand. What I'm trying to say, different people can commit the same crime, been prosecuted by different judges and get fines differently. There are so many factors that judges actually look at. So for us, we're just trying to make it easy for the judges. Let's have the upper limit and let the rest be done by the judiciary. It's as simple as that.
Proposal.
Member for Kantora.
Yes, I am trying to have a rethink on this. Now, the issue we raised here, that family or backdoor or native is captured here, directly or indirectly. Yes, so that suffices. No, the other person is vague. So, no, of course. No, it's too open. So, directly or indirectly, that suffices. If you do corruption directly, even if it's through your sister or your brother or your son, it's captured. But this another person, how do you qualify it? So, I'm proposing an expunge, to expunge any other person. Exactly.
Can I clarify? Please.
And I'm proposing 1 million maximum, no lesser fine, expunge any other person. That's my proposal.
The proposal is that. Okay, Willis.
Honorable, you see the other person, if you, for example, you want to corrupt him and you use me. Wait, you use me. You are involved, now I am also involved. Me, the other person, I'm also involved. And the other person is also involved. That's why the other person is put there. Yes!
No, use your mic. Majority leader, use your mic.
I'm saying directly or indirectly suffice. I use you or myself. Myself is directly. Indirectly, I use you. It suffice. It's the same thing. That's what I'm using you to corrupt Al-Husseini. I'm using indirectly through you. Now, there's a proposal on the floor. Let's have maximum of 1 million as fine. No lesser punishment, 5 years, and expunge any other person. That's the proposal.
Now, you know what I want? I want us to deal with the fine first. Then from there, we go to any other person or private or something, we debate on that one. Now.
you know, any other person could actually even mean a corporation. Any other person could mean a corporation, not individual, but even a corporation.
Now, minority leader and member for Brikama North deal with the fines and the jail terms. Then from there, we proceed to, I'll put the question on the fine and the jail terms, then we go to the any other person.
Yes, our submission is for the fine maximum of 1 million. Maximum of 1 million and imprisonment not more than 5 years or both.
The proposal is that on 20B, on 21B, fine
not exceeding 1 million.
Not exceeding 1 million and imprisonment not exceeding 5 years. Those in favor, please say aye.
Sorry, 1 million what? Is $1 million dollars is?
1 million Gambian dollars. 1 million Gambian dollars or
both.
Imprisonment of not exceeding 5 years or to both. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Now, proposal from the majority leader. Let's debate on that issue. Any other person for us to delete it?
Yes, I want them to really don't make mistake. Let's listen to the legal man as well. What is their understanding of any other person to guide us? They are not participating in legislation, but they have to for guidance. But it's important that to me, if you are saying that to induce somebody, my understanding, directly or indirectly suffices. If you want to say any other person, you're putting people into more confusion. But edgy.
Honorable members, it's AG.
All right, thank you. Let's read it together. A person who, so that is the person now who we are trying to punish. That's the offender. A person who, so that's person number one. That's the offender. He gives, now I'm going to A. Who gives, confers, procures directly or indirectly. So whether he does this giving or confirming or procuring directly or indirectly, any property or undue benefit of any kind to or on or for a public officer or any other person. That's the issue here. Then you go to B, where he did not give, but it's a promise now, where he promises or offers to give, confer, procure, or attempts to procure directly or indirectly any property or benefit of any kind on or for a public officer or any other person. So the issue of the any other person here. Now, if our target is to prevent members of the public making offers to public officers with the intention of corrupting them, we need to see that is the mischief we are trying to fight here. Members of the public, we want to deter them from making offers or giving property or any kind of favor to public officers with the intention of corrupting them.
Honorable AG.
I'm coming. So if that is the mischief.
Honorable AG, please, we are going past 5:30. Please, time. No, please. I know why. Look at your time. It's against our procedures.
So
Honorable members, the House resumed. Honorable member for Opanyomi.
Honorable Speaker, thank you so much for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to move a motion that this assembly sit beyond 6 o'clock to finish business. Thank you.
We didn't hear you. Order, 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 please. What is your motion, member for Opanyomi?
Honorable Speaker, my motion is we sit beyond 6 o'clock. To finish business. No.
The member for Opanyomi, opposite.
Yes, motion seconded.
What? You seconded the motion? Yes, lawful.
Thank you very much. Counter motion. I also move a motion that we cannot stay beyond 6 o'clock.
Chair. No, wait. We cannot sit beyond.
Oh no. Sabasanjal? Huh?
Yes. I want to second the motion that is raised by honorable member for Lower Fulham. We cannot finish business.
Please, order, honorable members. Honorable members, order, please. There is a motion to sit beyond 6 to finish business. I'm going to put the question, and it is seconded. If you don't agree to the motion, if you agree, you say yes. You don't agree, you say no. If there is division, any one member can call for a division, then we vote. The proposal is that for this assembly to sit beyond 6, majority leader and member for Kantora. Yeah, please. The proposal is that for this assembly to sit beyond 6 to finish business on the order paper. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Please don't use your mic. Please don't do that. Those not in favor, please say no. The noes have it. The noes have it. Order, don't use your mic.
Let's go for voting.
Please, order. Order, yes, please. Yes. Please, order.
We are calling for division, please.
Don't use your mic, please. Don't use your mic. Order. There is division. A member for Brikama North and minority leader calls for division. I will now call on table office to facilitate. We're going for voting and then to count. Those who said no. Please, now those who said yes, those who are in for us to sit beyond 6, please raise your tag. Please, please, order, yes. Those who said no, please put up your tags.
Wow.
Honorable members, please, order. The result is as follows. The ayes 7. The noes 21. So the noes have it.
Motion.
Yes.
Motion, Chair.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker.
Motion.
2 more hours. Honorable Speaker.
Can I pass?
Motion.
Nominated member Kebalang Fofana, under which order?
Honorable Speaker, I'm rising on order 57K.
Can you read it, please? 57K.
53K, huh? I can say it. I'm rising on 53K, motion without notice.
Can you read 53K?
Okay, read it. It's public demand.
Honorable members, please respect members' opinions and the standing orders. And let me remind members, we just moved a motion now and it's been voted on. Already that motion has been decided. Honorable member, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm rising on order 53K. It reads, a motion agreed by the Speaker to be a matter of urgency. Honorable Speaker, this bill has been here for almost 2 years now. And it is not only in the interest of the public, but it is also in the interest of this House that it is passed and expedited. So I am moving the motion that we sit till 9 p.m.
Yes.
Not to finish business, but to sit till 9 p.m. Thank you.
Order, please, order. Honorable members, we are all okay with the standing orders. And we, less than 1 second or 1 minute ago, we parliamentary move a motion and make a decision. The Assembly made a decision. And I'm not sure his motion is to rescind the decision of the Parliament just now. And is that should be by notice or not? That should be by notice. If you want to rescind a decision of the Assembly, that should be by notice.
Honorable Speaker.
Please, Majority Leader, please take your seat.
With your permission.
Please take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable members, let us not play with the gallery. I don't vote. I am only presiding. Please, honorable members, please. I'm not entertaining any contributor. You see, in a democracy, there's a win or lose. And by our own procedure, when it's 30 minutes to close of business, the Assembly resumes, and then there was a motion. And we voted. Division was called on tenets of democracy, and we voted by show of hands. And then the motions was just voted and passed, and you want to bring in a motion that should be to rescind the decision of Parliament, and in accordance with the standing orders, it should be by notice.
Speaker.
There is point of order by a member for Kiang West.
Moving a motion to sit beyond 6 was 30 minutes before time, and it was done 25 minutes before. No, please.
Please allow him to proceed, honorable members. Please order.
And it was done 25 minutes before time. So I want to be clear if that is within the order. And after that, I want to move a motion. Depending on the same clause that honorable nominated member leaned on, I want to move a motion that Assembly Business Committee try everything to squeeze this within this session to make sure we deal with this bill and we complete. That is my motion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You raise pertinent issues. According to the orders of the National Assembly, 30 minutes before time, we should decide whether to sit beyond 6 or not. And according to him, we decided 5 minutes later later than that, even though by practice we have never been static on that. But what that means is that then we cannot sit beyond 6. That's what it means. The Assembly resolved to the Committee of the Whole House.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
No. Honorable Speaker, you have to go back. No. Honorable Speaker, there's a point of order.
There's a point of order.
No, but you cannot take the decision from here. You cannot take the decision from here. No. Nine.
Okay, I have a point of order. Okay.
But the motion was to sit beyond 6 to finish.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then the motion was defeated.
Point of procedure. Point of order, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think procedurally we are going wrong procedurally. Because he raised a motion. He raised a motion to sit up to 9 o'clock. But you have never made any decision on that motion.
Who?
He did, Keba.
No.
He moved a motion.
No, you are out of order.
No, but you someone decide.
Okay, put up
No,
your
if
mic.
it is out of order, you should tell us that he's out of order.
I've said it already.
No.
I said it, and I said, in fact, the Assembly, I said it very clear.
Honorable Speaker. Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Point of order. No, wait. Point of order.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
No. Allow me.
You see, and when the member for Kiang West raised...
Honorable Speaker, there's a point of order already on the floor. I raised a point of order. Can you hear me out?
No, I'm raising an order, please. I'm raising a point of order. The honorable member for Kiang West raised a point of order, and I sustain it. And when you look at 13.2, it reads, a motion for the extension of a sitting of the Assembly may be moved by a member at least no later than half an hour before the time fixed for the adjournment, and if carried, the sitting shall continue accordingly.
Point of order.
No, but we see. That should have
Can
been
I be
there,
heard
not
now?
here.
That
should have been done up there, not here. Not as here. Well, we're up there. So I'm here.
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Yes. Allow me. Non te pare da
Yes, nominated member Kebalang Fofana have a point of order.
Honorable Speaker, I'm rising on 29K. Sorry, 29.3. 29.3. Order 29.3.
29.3.
It states, it shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the Assembly has taken a decision during the current session, except upon a motion to rescind that decision for which notice must be given. Honorable Speaker, we served notice to the clerk whilst we were sitting on the chair.
Okay.
And we were deprived the opportunity to regularize our motion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now,
so can you give us that opportunity? You go back to the chair
please,
so that we can pass our motion.
No. You can just stop for me giving it opportunity. Then we look at the order.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Motion, you rose to a point of order on 53K. Motion without notice. But 53K at the discretion of the Speaker. That's the motion you raise. And that the Speaker should agree to the motion. You rose to the motion, to point of order, and on motions which Speaker have no knowledge, he was never informed of, and therefore Speaker never agreed on your motion. Prior to, yeah, please, you know, let us rule by the dictates of the standing orders. And later on, you wanted to change, and you said now your motion is to rescind the decision of the Assembly, which was made less than a minute. And if you are to rescind a decision of Parliament, you must give a notice of at least 5 days in accordance with the standing orders.
Yes. What of the?
Are you raising on a point of order? Are you raising on a point of order? Point of order.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
You have not completed ruling on what I have said, because I have raised an order and also said I want to move a motion that I've also moved a motion. I've also moved a motion that Assembly Business Committee. I've also moved a motion that ABC tries to squeeze this within this session so that we complete this bill. Huh? You are saying it's obvious and it came last session, it didn't go? Next week we are going. Next week the session is concluding.
Honorable members, can we proceed, please? Huh? No, but we can proceed, please. Honorable members, let's continue from where we stopped. The Attorney General and Minister for Justice was explaining. Now I'll give him back the floor to continue where he stopped.
Yes, I was trying to explain because it looks like, and I agree with Banjul Central, you don't have to be guilty for spending time on a clause in order for you to understand it well. It's no crime. But let me try to explain what clause 20 is trying to do. With an enhanced understanding, maybe you will agree on something. I was trying to help you understand what is the mischief that we are trying to solve, relying on clause 20. And I try to do it piece by piece so that we understand. When we say any person who, we now have to understand that is the person whose conduct we are looking at here. Any person who. And the conduct that we are now trying to punish is the conduct of giving, conferring, or procuring, whether this is done directly or indirectly, or the second conduct under B is the conduct of promising or offering to give or conferring or procuring or attempting to do so. All right? Now, so we know person A. We know the conduct we want to punish. But we said corruption, it has to take more than one person. So that promise or that giving, that act of giving or that act of promising or procuring or attempting it, it is punishable if you direct it to who? So, public officer, right? So, public officer came out very clearly. And it says whether that is done directly or indirectly. That is also very clear. The issue of contention that you are debating is after public officer, there is a phrase there, or any other person. And the question is, who is that any other person? That somebody will promise to give, or attempt to give, or promise to give or have given, that will constitute the offense here. Who is that any other person here? Because that any other person will become person number 3 in this equation here. You have person number 1, the person offering or promising to give. Person number 2 is public officer. So if you say any other person, we are now introducing a third person. Who is that third person? I think you can debate that to find out who is that person. So for me, I would say, for instance, if the targeted mischief here is to deter people from offering, promising, or procuring, or attempting to do any of those towards public officers, that any other person, we can add a phrase to say, or any other person at the instance of a public officer. So if that any other person is acting at the instance of a public officer, for me, then our fear is taken care of. Because I think the whole debate is about leaving any other person standing alone. I mean, how are we going to this way? So with that little guidance, I'm not too sure whether you will now able to find a resolution of the issue.
Chair. Sabasanjal.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, thank you so much for that clarification. When we talk about corruption, sometimes people always think about the monetary aspect of it. But we also have to remember that there are other favoritism that might be also an act of corruption. For example, if I am a public officer working in the National Assembly and I employ, please allow me to flow. Please, just allow me. For example, if I should employ Honorable Willie East, niece or nephew, based on what? A return that I might be expecting or a promise that he is giving to me.
Honorable Member.
We are
out of time. Thank you, sir.
Is it time?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Honorable members, the House resumes. Honorable members, the House resumes. Order, please. I want to thank the Attorney General and Minister for Justice and all honorable members for the participation and deliberations on this very important bill. Now, the Office of the Speaker will refer it to the ABC. On that note, honorable members, I now put the question. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned until Monday, 19 June 2023. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stand adjourned until Monday, 19 June 2023 at 10